friends, how are you today? I know I haven't seen you for a couple of days. I am sorry. I was just trying to catch up on a few things that I'd got behind on and just trying to regroup really, refresh. So I hope you're all well. It's Friday morning while I'm just filming this now. I've taken a day off. I needed it. So I thought I'd take advantage of the situation and do this recipe with you that I was promising you. Well, I kind of mentioned it a few days ago when we were doing the sauerkraut. I was saying you'll need the liquid for a recipe that I'll be doing soon. And this is it. Now, it's a staple in most people's households, I would imagine. And it's ketchup. Difference being, it's a healthy ketchup. It's a probiotic, so it'll be very good for helping you with digestion. So we tend to associate ketchup really with maybe unhealthy foods. So you might have ketchup with something in chips or burgers or hot dogs or something like that. So even though you're eating something that's maybe quite unhealthy, this ketchup will help the body digest it because of it being a probiotic and a ferment. All that being said, I think we should get on and start. I will write the recipe out below and where I got the recipe from. This is a new one for me. I've not tried this one yet, so it's one I've been wanting to try for a little while. And I've looked at different recipes online and this one was really the only one I like the sound of, so we're going to give it a go today. So I'm going to just move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll crack on. There we are. I think you can see that, folks, can't you? Just move a little bit like there, just so you can see better. So like I said, I will write the recipe out below for you and where I got the recipe from so that you can have a look for yourself. But it's 1.5 cups of tomato paste. Obviously, you try and get the best quality you can. Homemade would be the best. I don't have any, so I've had to buy some shop bought. So it's tomato paste, 1.5 cups, which is 250, about 375 mils. However, you can make half of the recipe if you want to try it, and then if you like it, you could always make the exact amount or even double it. It's one of those recipes you can just make as much or as little as you like, really. Then we're going to add to that 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Now, while maple syrups are quite expensive, I found this Hilltop one in Tesco was a very, very reasonable price. So if maple syrup isn't something you normally have, I've found I've started using maple syrup in more and more recipes now that I've got it. It's not something I ever really had in the house, but once you've got it, you tend to find other recipes to use it for. So 1/3 cup of maple syrup. You can use sugar if you want. If you don't want to buy maple syrup, please, just go ahead and use sugar. You can use honey, but it will change the flavour of it. So that is the maple syrup added with the tomato puree or tomato paste. There we go. So then you want to add a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, that's a tablespoon. I know this bottle looks really grubby, but we've had that Worcester sauce quite a while now. It's not something I use a lot of. So that's a tablespoon of Worcester sauce. You want 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. So let me find, that's 1/4. That's 1/2. I don't think I've got my 1/8 on me, so I'll just use a tiny little, half of that basically. There we go, that'll do. 1/8 of ground cloves 1/8 of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. So here we go. Oh, it's smelling delicious already. Oh, that smells so good. And then we want a teaspoon of fine sea salt or fine rock salt. Please do not use table salt. So we want a full teaspoon. So have we got my teaspoon measure? Yes, we have. Some things are in the dishwasher, so I haven't got. So you want, come on, about a teaspoon. I need to put that in the dehydrator. It's gone a bit damp as that. About a teaspoon of salt. That'll help with the preservation. But obviously you're using a good quality sea salt or rock salt. So you'll be fine with that. So that's a teaspoon of salt. We don't like table salt in this house. We don't have it. The only time I have table salt is for the autumn time when slugs and snails think it's okay to come in the house, and it's like, no. So I tend to put a bit of salt around the doors outside, and that usually keeps them at bay. So we have 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Now, as you know, we were making apple cider vinegar the other day. That's not ready yet. That won't be for a few weeks. So if you've got some, or you have to get some apple cider vinegar, make sure you get raw, organic apple cider vinegar with the mother, like we talked about the other day. I will try and link that video below so that if you haven't seen it, you can have a look at that, and it explains everything about with the mother and all that. So raw, organic apple cider vinegar with the mother. There we go. That is nearly the last ingredient. One more ingredient to add. And this is what we talked about the other day when we were making sauerkraut. Again, I'll try and link that video if I can. This is your sauerkraut liquid from the sauerkraut we made the other day. That is added to it. Now, your apple cider vinegar, your sauerkraut is like a live ferment, and that is what is going to help this be a healthy, with the apple cider vinegar, probiotic mixture. It's really going to help with when you're digesting food. The only thing now that I would add to this is a little bit of filtered water. You will not need a lot, if any. And I forgot to get that before when I was getting everything ready for the video. You'll just use some unfiltered or bottled water just for the consistency. You want it to be a consistency like you would with shop bought ketchup. So we'll just add a little bit of water to that. You shouldn't need a lot. Oh, it smells divine. It really, really does. I can just imagine this on a homemade burger now with some lean mince steak from the butcher's and some salad. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Just a tiny bit more. You get the consistency to how you want it. I've probably only added about maybe a tablespoon at the most. I think, my friends, that will do. So, let's have a try, shall we? Let's have a try, see what we think. So, like I said, I've never made this before either. So, it's chopping my head off there. Sorry about my hand in front. So, I've never tried this either. So, I'm quite interested to know what it's like. Because I do like ketchup. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. I think you're going to like this. If you like, I'd say some of the more well-known brands that you would buy at the shop that have got very expensive these days, I shall just add. I think you're going to like that. That is really delicious. I know my grandson will like this, and he's a real ketchup fan. So we're going to get a clean mason jar now. Move you back down again. a daisy. There we go. Just a little bit more. We're going to pop this in a clean mason jar now, and we are going to pop this on the side, just on the cupboard top at the side for about maybe 6 hours, anything up to about 10 hours. So if you're making this later in the day, you can just leave it overnight on the cupboard top. You're just going to leave that now, and then after about between 6 and 10 hours, you can then put it in the fridge. And it will be there for, well, I'm not sure how long it lasts in the fridge. It should last quite a while because it's a ferment. So I'd imagine it would last in the fridge for probably about 6 months at least, I would have thought. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I am really thrilled with that. Really thrilled. Let's not have any waste. Oh my days, that is so delicious. I will just grab a clean cloth and some white vinegar, because I did forget to get that before. So I'll be 2 seconds while I just go and get that. Nice clean cloth. I'm just going to use one of my own homemade crocheted dishcloths. And we're just going to clean that up with some white vinegar, just to make sure it is really, really clean. There we go. There we go. Like you would if you were canning. Now you don't want the lid. I did have my lid a minute ago and I'm not sure where I put it. What did I do with that? I'd lost my lid. I'd lost my lid. You don't want your lid to be airtight while it's just sitting on the top. You want to put a label on. I would just loosely pop that on. Just leave it loose so that it can do its stuff. That is probably the healthiest ketchup you'll ever have. And in my humble opinion, the tastiest. Wow, that's good. So I'm just going to lift you up on my little top here. Right, so that's your homemade ketchup. Like I say, double it. I only made this sticking to the recipe because I didn't know if I'd like it or not. I am so impressed with that. It is so tasty. And if I just gave it to my grandson without telling him, with his favourite tea, which is chicken nugget and chips, or pizza and chips, he loves that. I know it's not healthy tea, but it's his favourite tea. If I was just to put some of this on the side of the plate, and he is fussy. He is very fussy, he's my grandson, my youngest grandson. He knows. If you're trying to fool him, he knows. He's very clever. But if I put that on the side of his plate without him seeing, he would eat that and not know the difference between that and his favourite ketchup brand. That is so good. So I do hope you give it a try. I hope you're making the apple cider vinegar. I do hope you've made the sauerkraut, because those 2 ingredients are essential. If you don't have sauerkraut liquid, the liquid from sauerkraut, you could use kombucha or kefir, or the clear liquid you get on a yogurt, on a natural yogurt. It's called whey, that whey liquid. You could use that. That's an alternative. But I really would try and stick to those ingredients if you can, because, and I wouldn't use shop bought kombucha because it's canned, isn't it? It's not the ferment starter you need. It's not the right, because of the way it's been processed and canned, it's not right. So a shop bought one probably wouldn't do the job. And you do need a ferment starter, because you want this to be a probiotic. You want this to be healthy for your gut and to help digest the food you're eating. It's incredible. I'm really blown away by that recipe, and I will be using that from now on. I don't think I'll buy shop bought again. I genuinely do not think I will ever buy shop brands again, because that is incredible. And I think the family are going to be very impressed by that ketchup indeed. So if you can give it a try, please do. I mean, it was very cheap to make. Tomato paste, tomato puree is not expensive. I know the price of everything in the shops has gone up. It really has. But we can still buy tomato paste at a reasonable price, tomato puree. Shop around. Like I said, this particular maple syrup, I'm not big in Tesco up. I don't have any favourite shops or anything like that, but I just find this at an affordable price. And obviously, this is about being frugal, isn't it? So I have used the Hilltop maple. I was a bit like that. Would it be as good as some of the more expensive maples? And I found in this, it's absolutely fine. So yeah, maple flavoured syrup. So it's not, I don't know, blended with Canadian maple syrup. So yeah, I do think that this is absolutely fine to use. And like I say, the taste of that is phenomenal. So I'm very impressed by that. I think later today I'm going to try and start my courgette seeds. So if it's not too noisy outside, if there's not too many people doing some work on the houses, there's been quite a few houses at the back all seem to be doing some work at the moment. So if it's not one neighbour, it's another. They're trying to, because they all work full time, so it's a case of they're all trying to do jobs on the houses and gardens at the moment. So there does seem to be quite a lot of drilling and sawing and banging and crashing about at the moment at the back of us. It's just the way it is sometimes, isn't it, folks? We all have to do work on our houses and gardens. So if it's a bit quieter later on, if it's not too noisy, I'll take it to the greenhouse hopefully, and we'll start some seeds together. If it is too noisy, I will just bring some stuff into the kitchen and we'll do it in here where it's warm and dry, because it's still very cold and windy outside. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we, friends? I'll see what I can do. So I would like to start my courgettes if I can. Now that my tomatoes are started, there's still no sign of life there. So there's no point in taking you through to show you, because there's nothing to see. It's still just soil. So hopefully by end of next week, we'll start to see some life in those seed trays in the windowsill. The courgettes will have to go in the greenhouse, even though it's still quite cold out there. They'll have to go outside because I've no room on my windowsill for the courgettes now. But I used to be able to fill that windowsill up with loads and loads of trays of seeds, but one of my dogs jumps up at the window and just sends everything flying. He just trashes everything. So I'm limited to how much I can put in that window now, my big bay window in there, because he's a bit of a calamity. Jane is my Bertie. He's a bit of a daft dog. George doesn't jump up, but Bertie's just mayhem. Mayhem reigns wherever Bertie is. He's quiet at the moment. He was going mental before because he could hear a delivery driver at the bottom of the street that's nearly half a mile away. Go figure. So he's staying quiet at the moment. He's behaving for once. So yeah, we'll do some courgette seeds later, hopefully. I just really wanted to share this ketchup recipe with you, and I'm so glad I did, because, you know, sometimes I'll do recipes with you that I'm used to doing and I've been doing for a while, but I do like to try things for the first time as well, like the melt and pour soap we did the other day. I'd never used the melt and pour soap method before, so I like to try new things as well. And yeah, we'll try old and new recipes together. There's a grate, it just appeared in my garden. That's a sight to behold, isn't it? I couldn't show you because it was on and then off again. It's quick as a flash. I love this time of year now when we start seeing different birds in the garden. It's so exciting, isn't it? So, with all that being said, friends, I will try and get back to you later with some seeds. But for now, take care, God bless, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.